Hi, this is Leon at the Computer Room Nottingham. What I've got here is a iPad mini that's coming to us for repair. If I switch the screen off, you'll be able to see a little bit clearer why. It's been dropped and it suffered screen damage on the right hand side. There's some big cracks sort of travelling up and down the screen. So what we're going to do is just replace the screen and then we'll move on. Alright, then here we are. We're making good progress on the screen. As you can see, we've got it up from the top. Both sides as well. Now what I'm doing now is just heating the bottom up to soften the adhesive that holds it down. And once that's done, I'm hoping to just be able to open it up like a book. And then we'll get working on removing everything else so we can disconnect the touchscreen and move on with the repair. Alright then, like I talked about, we needed to get both screens up and we have. We've got the touchscreen here and then the LCD screen here and the lens against it. What we need to do now is remove this silver plate. We're going to do that, and then there's going to be another smaller silver plate here covering both connections for the LCD and the touch screen. We'll get that off, then we'll be able to disconnect the screens and move on with the repair. Alright then, here we are. We've got the screens both out of the iPad. This is the body of the iPad. We've got the LCD well out of the way so that it doesn't get marked, scratched, anything like that. We're going to be putting this out of the way now, so we're going to be working with the screen to move this IC and the home button circuit from this screen assembly to a new one. Here is the screen that I've turned over. This is the IC that we need to have taken off the flex cable. What I've done, I've just stuck it down with some adhesive. I'm going to warm this up with soldering iron so I can just peel this off the IC, because all these joints are soldered in place. I'm going to do exactly the same with the home button circuit, which joins into the flex cable for the screen about here. Once they're off, then we'll have two components to solder onto the new screen assembly. We'll get that done and move on. Alright, then we've got the first part of the soldering going on now. Now what we do is line the end of the cable up to here. This sort of sits underneath this part in exactly the right place. Then we solder it in to all the pads to here to make good contact for the home button circuit. It then gets just flipped over into place, stuck down so that you can press the home button, and then we'll move on to this part for the IC. The soldering, as you can see. Now what we've done is lined everything up exactly with these alignment marks and then just started the soldering at each end just to make sure that it's all okay. It is. So what we're going to do is solder all the rest of the solder joints, and like I say, we flip it over, put it all in place, and we'll move on to the bigger connector next. Right, with the soldering complete for the home button that you can see, from the inside it's looking absolutely fine, from the outside just normal. What we're going to do now is turn this over so that we can do the soldering on the IC. We're going to line this up in exactly the right place, do exactly the same thing as we did here. Then the only difference really is that there are a lot more solder pads to solder to. Not an issue though. All we need to do, like I say, is align things up properly. Then we'll solder at this end and this end, take a look to make sure everything's okay, then go through all the rest of the pads, and then we're done. Okay, then here we are. We've got the ends soldered down, just like I said, some here and some here. Using the alignment marks, everything is in exactly the right place. So what I'm going to do now is just go through all these solder joints one by one to get the solder to flow, and then we're done with this assembly and we can put it in the iPad. Alright then, just before we put the iPad back together, what we're doing now is just lining the screen up to make sure that it all goes in nicely, there's no dents in the corners or on any of the edges, which there aren't, and it goes down nice and flat, which it has done, so that's quite pleasing to see. So what we're really doing now is reassembling the iPad, and we're going to get the touchscreen out of the way. We're going to put the LCD screen in, and then we'll stick the screen in the iPad. We've got the LCD here. This is the new touchscreen. We've got the silver plate going down. We've just got to put all the screws in that hold that down. and then we'll stick everything back together and we're done. Alright, what I'm doing now is just switch down and test it. The screen isn't stuck down yet, you can see a little bit of travel just in that bottom part. But yeah, I've just switched on to make sure the touchscreen works, which it does. All areas work on it absolutely fine, which is thanks to the soldering that we've done. Pressing the home button works absolutely fine as well. So that's the testing done. What I'm going to do next is get the screen back up after I've switched the iPad off. We'll get the screen stuck down this time, and then that's it. We're just about to stick the screen down. We've got the adhesive around the whole edge of the iPad. So yeah, we're going to get the screen stuck down. We'll get switched on again just to test, and then alright, then here we go. We've got the screen stuck down. Touchscreen now working absolutely fine. It's all good. As you can see, all areas working. Home button working absolutely fine as well. So that is that. Now it's been stuck down this for the last 20 minutes or so. The edges of the screen absolutely fine, no problem at all. If we turn it around, we get the screen turning around doing its thing, and that is all done. So yeah, this is ready to be collected. It was brought into us, this one. But yeah, if you've got your own iPad mini with screen damage, anything like that, and you're needing help with it, then please do give us a call or send us a message. As you can see, we can always help.